very conservative, very traditional market. But as a retailer comes in, they know the styles that we're going to be wearing. They know the products that we're going to be looking for. So it's not one of these very transient areas where you've got a lot of young people coming and going. The people that are here stay here. And particularly the baby boomers, we're a very viable, very well-educated, economically strong market. And so I think the fact that we are taking over the economy and have been taking over the economy nationally as well as locally. If a retailer can get in here with some very upscale, more traditional, not necessarily the teen types of stores that we've got, but something that's strong department stores, strong markets geared toward women, 35 and over, 40 and over, and you know, I think we're doing pretty well.
Now, ultimately, as it relates to the younger demographic, you have to retain, you have to stop the sliding, and then ultimately you have to start the curve go the other way. Now, some of the recent census numbers would suggest that the bleeding slowed a little bit, which I suspect is step one, but only step one. But the demographic that's more conservative, traditional, or older, I think I don't know if you could build your entire marketing plan around that. This is your expertise.
Right.
But I don't think you get shy about it either. If you're basically saying that national retailers know what they're getting, that means they know how to apportion their resources relative to this stable market, right?
Sure,
so why don't you market that? Not you. Why isn't that marketed as a plus?
We should be. You know, a lot of times we thought of ourselves as we're an older market, we're conservative, we are thrifty, and people didn't want to hit us. But I think overall the whole, all marketers and demographics are changing. And marketers are recognizing that, wait a minute, seniors, meaning senior citizens, baby boomers, they've got a lot of money. They've got a little bit of time on their hands. Their kids are getting older, empty nest types of things, and so they're the ones that are spending the money or spending it on their kids or their grandkids. I should say hi, Jake.
No, I knew you were going to do that. You did a little wave thing.
Yeah,
That's another little wave. Yeah.
Jake is always watching.
Yeah, right.
My little grandson, who's 3.5.
Right.
But so they go after people like us, and so you know, I think it's not just us, but the fact LSU are hitting on something huge, because yes, you're right. We should be marketing the fact that we are a little bit older, but hey, that's a good thing.
Right.
But we also want to stop the bleeding as far as losing young people too.
Grandma, come on, get out of here. You got to be nuts. We're going to come back. We have another segment with Audrey. I want to ask her about a national report today about our consumer spending and why it's important to you. Because it is. We'll be talking about the power of inflation as well, starting to come into the picture more as well. So we'll do all that in a couple minutes. PCNC. Welcome back, everybody. Audrey Guskey's on the set. A little bit later, we'll be joined by Mike Gentile. We always enjoy the time with Mike, and he's upbeat. He's got some things to talk about concerning the summer concert scene here in Pittsburgh. All right, let's get back to Audrey. Pittsburgh ranked as 10th healthiest U.S. retail market, so you're feeling good about that.
Very good.
And you're talking about the nature of Pittsburgh's Pittsburghers working in conjunction, in concert with that, because we're basically conducive for retailers. Once again, getting that word out is important. Not relying exclusively on it is valuable as well.
Absolutely. You know, everything that we do is marketing as a city. So the awards that we win, the sports teams that do well, the fact that the retailers are strong, the fact that Pittsburghers are finally starting to get that Pittsburgh pride and shout about it and brag about who we are. So, you know, each of us are in reality marketers and marketing the city in everything that we do. And so I think that we're going to keep seeing this momentum going and this energy going. And I think that's going to draw a lot of young people, people who are at Duquesne, Pitt, CMU, who are graduating, may not go somewhere else. They may decide to stay here.
And let's talk about that. I mean, you're on campus all the time. I mean, you're a professor. Talk about what it is that the young kids are saying. We talked about the exodus. Is this appearing to you? And try to, you mentioned cheerleader earlier. You're not a cheerleader. You're an analyst, but you're upbeat. But take off even the quasi-cheerleader hat for a second. What are the kids saying now about Pittsburgh as a destination as opposed to a place to jump from?
Well, you've got schools, as I said, like Duquesne, Pitt, and CMU, who are drawing from all over the country and all over the world. And the students that I see at Duquesne are very positive about Pittsburgh. And a lot of them who are outsiders, who have come from other regions, are planning on staying here because the market, the job market, is pretty decent for business students to stay. And so I think they're seeing nightlife. They're seeing a lot of retail outlets that are hitting them. They're seeing an economic growth. They're seeing job opportunities. They're seeing it's a great place to raise a family. And so I think, you know, all of that together, the buzz on the campus at Duquesne is that Pittsburgh's a really wonderful place, and we really would love to have our students stay here.
Here's a headline today. U.S. consumer spending rose 0.7% in February. That would be the 8th straight month. However, we're seeing households now tapping into savings because of rising energy costs and also food expenses and things of that sort. So if you adjust for inflation, basically the spending was up about half of that 0.7, 0.3 to be exact. I want to say it's good because 8 months seemingly starts to develop a trend, and yet we can't just look at that gross figure. You have to consider the net as well, which is this sneaking now of inflation into the picture.
Right. You also have to take into account with that number that went up, gas prices were up, and people were spending more in cars as well, buying smaller cars. So, you know, you do have to take inflation into account, and are we gearing towards an inflationary period? Probably. I think we're better off than we were about 2 years ago. I think we're going to be better off next year than we are this year. I think things are moving and they're progressing, but as far as inflation rates, yes, I think unfortunately we're going to see them growing. Now,
people see headlines all the time, and we get buried in headlines and buried in conversation about certain economic factors, but consumer spending is if not critical, it's pretty central to how the engine percolates with the economy. Tell us why.
It is huge. Basically, consumer spending is the impetus, the push. It's 80% of all spending is consumer spending in this country, and so it's really driving the economy. If consumers aren't spending, then manufacturers aren't making goods, and as a result, the economy is really going downhill. And so everything depends upon consumer spending. Now, keep in mind when people were very conservative about 2 years ago and cut back spending, that obviously showed in the economy, and then things got worse.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think overall that, yes, it's extremely important, you know, but people have to be aware, too, that you don't want to spend beyond your budget and beyond your household income. So, you know, in a way I'm saying, oh, yes, consumer spending is fabulous, but from an individual point of view, you have to be careful, too, what you're spending. You got to start saving. We are not an economy. We are not a country that saves a lot of money.
I saw Susie Orman the other day, and she was talking about how it's a new America, and that basically it's okay to save. It's okay to take pride, in effect, in saving, and to use it as a bit of a challenge. And I understood, I connected with that to a certain extent, because I'm one of those people who's always looking over my shoulder for 2 or 3 years ago. And I take it to mean balance, which is probably critical to everything in life.
Absolutely.
It's important to take the loot out from under the bed, which is where a lot of people have had it the last year or two, and yet that doesn't mean you go completely crazy and buy 12 plasmas for your little house.
Right.
Pretty fair?
You have to, everything is balanced and everything in moderation. So you don't want to spend too much, you don't want to save too much, but how can you save too much? You know, because as baby boomers are aging and we're worried about Social Security being around, and so I think you really have to have that little nest egg hidden away and take care of yourselves. Yeah.
Audrey, you always take care of us. Thanks so much. Okay.
And I wanted to say, happy birthday to you.
No, you can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that.
I know you didn't want me to, but I wanted the world to know that this is your birthday. And so, I don't know, do you want to share the little cards that your son's made for you?
Oh, now that you did that, I told you privately. Yeah, I mean, there they are, all the handwritten cards, you know, they're beautiful, and yeah, there's Dad, and you always talk to us and help us study, and I can't believe you did this, and here's Joseph Cannon, and his card. And
he signed it, Joseph.
Yeah, and then he signed it, Joseph Cannon, in case I missed out on that, and then there's Ilias with his baseball bat and glove. Ilia, Michael, and Joseph, yeah.
You're the best.
I don't know about that. Yeah, how about this? I love you, Dad. You always make us feel good by helping us study or letting us talk to you when there's something wrong.
Precious.
I hope I remember that in 5 years when they want to run away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot, Audrey.
Happy birthday,
God bless.
Alice.
Take care. All right, we're going to come back, and Mike Gentile is going to be with us. I'm going to, well, get rid of grief for that. But we'll talk about some great things with First Niagara on Mellis right here on PCNC.